Hello, good evening, welcome to this reading. This is going to be my first pick a card session, and I have chosen 3 decks. The first one is the Lenormand deck, which I was using yesterday for a question from the audience. The second one is a Rider-Waite deck, which is what most tarot readers use. And the third one is a simple deck of playing cards. So I'm going to shuffle and pick 3 cards from each for interpretation, and then you will be choosing your stack of cards, and I will be reading each stack. So we're going to do this as quickly as possible. So while I'm shuffling, I'm just reminding you that Lenormand is a French system of 36 cards, and they're very good for day-to-day small actions, very much like the playing cards, and there is an element of the playing cards that is based on them too. So I'm going to choose 1, 2, and 3 and put this away. Now for the Rider-Waite. The Rider-Waite Tarot, which is based on the original French Tarot de Marseille, and which was sorry, that's already just checking the order of the cards, which was then reinterpreted by Pamela Coleman Smith, and who did the art for it. So it's remained in the English-speaking tradition, the main used deck. So I think that's enough. And 3 cards. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna put this away. And then the last 3 cards which I will use are from my Gilded Playing Cards deck, just a normal cards deck that people play poker with and play rummy with, and yeah, so this is how this works. I'm gonna pick 3 from here. 1, 2, and 3. Wonderful. So I'm just going to lay these out for you here. So this is going to be my 1, this is going to be my 2, and this is going to be my 3. So I'm going to start from this end, push this a little bit back further, and we're going to see what these cards are saying. There's a dog, and there's a king. All right. So if you've chosen this first deck, this is a question relating to friendship. So today there is an issue with a friendship, something to do with loyalty, something to do with fidelity. It can even be your pet. I've seen that the dog literally means dogs in some cases, but it's a matter of the heart. And it's more of a friendship and loyalty card. The 6 of Wands, the 6 of Swords is all about traveling, and also very much about detaching from things. See, the men and the woman are carrying away their swords, which literally means they're just taking away their worries, and they're going somewhere else, which normally means travel from one stage, changing from one stage to the other. And with the energy of the 6 is the Lovers, it usually means a decision, something that you've decided to do. And so here is a king. So this is a king of diamonds, which normally is somebody that has authority, somebody that has a lot of energy. It can be somebody who is fair-haired, blonde, or lighter skin or lighter hair. And it also can be somebody that comes from the horoscopes, the fire horoscopes, which means Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. So this person could be somebody you're interested in, or this person could be a good friend. It could be, it's not a lover, this one. It's not yet a lover. It also, I mean, a lover in the sense that somebody that has emotions. There are not really any emotions, love, romantic emotions here. It's more of a connection. So the idea here is that there is a transition from loyalty, from a friendship, it seems, into a kind of a more passionate thing with this person. So there is a good solid base of friendship in the dog card, which is somebody that will, dogs are so loving, and they will always be by your side, and they will never leave you. And I have 3, so I know very well. And they will just always be there and love you regardless. The 6 is again the transition, and the transition is leaving, is heading. I love movement in cards, and for me it's heading towards this king. So it could be speaking of a transition from a friendship, okay, into something a little bit more passionate, because this is also passion. It's not love yet, but it can be. Maybe an affair with someone, maybe a fling, maybe a crush. So that is what is going on in this energy. And I'm talking about a man here, but it can be a woman too. So it doesn't really matter if you think it's a man or a woman. It's just that energy. That person can be a woman, but can be a leader, can be somebody who's a director, can be somebody who's on top of things. And if it's a woman that is represented as a man, it can be a man that's very emotional, very in touch with his own feelings. So there is no gender stereotypes as such. It's just talking about the qualities of the person. So if we're going to look at the elements, when I speak about the elements, there are 5 elements: of fire, water, air, and ether, but we use 4 in the readings. Here we have an emotional element with the hearts. Here we have an air element with the swords, and here we have a fire element. So for me, air, fire, and emotion and water are very much a question of passion building up. It's bubbling up, there's sparks flying everywhere. So I do see there is a transition here in a relationships, perhaps in one relationship that you have, and which is changing, as we can see here. And also, if we want to look at the numbers, I'm going to add them in according to tarot tradition. 18 and 6 are 24. 2 and 4 are 6. That is the card of the lovers. So there's definitely something a little bit more passionate and romantic happening. But again, when I say romantic, it may not necessarily be falling in love. It's just moving towards that. All right? So I hope for those who've chosen that first set of cards, that has helped. Now let's look at this one for people who have chosen the second set of cards. That was in the middle set of cards. There are mice, there's the Emperor, and there's 9 of spades. Okay, so that's not as a funny reading as, well, a light-hearted reading. So if you have chosen this stack, you are going to be experiencing losses. So you see the mice, they are eating away, and when we have mice in the house, it normally means there are losses, there are things that are going to get stolen. You know how mice act, rats act in your house. Okay, and this is someone who is structure, order, authority, the father, the boss, any figure that is male or female that has that power. It's a very powerful figure. The Emperor is the king of kings, so he's always the strongest and the most powerful one, and he's also very guarded. He's also very much into order, because number 4 is all about structure and stability and keeping things square. So he's a very square person, and he's also under the He's also the Aries representative. You see the rams there on his chair. He's very much an Aries. He's strong, very stubborn, does not forgive, extremely pig-headed, as we call it. Okay, and then you have the 9 of spades, which is a terrible card to get in cartomancy playing cards, because it usually means endings. It's things that are completely, it's really bad. The situation is pretty awful. And with the Emperor in the middle, it kind of makes me think that this is a situation that has to do with work. Because the Emperor is usually can also be your boss, or it can be family. So let's look at both things. So if it's a family question, there is something that is, if it's family or work, there's something that's being lost there. Okay, there is an element of corruption, an element of loss, an element of theft. It's not big, it's petty, it's quite small, but it's kind of eating away at you, eating away at that structure and that order, at that emperor. Okay, and what that will, the result of that is things just going south, which means things just not improving and just completely deteriorating from the result. But the silver lining in all this is that the Emperor is so powerful, and he's so structured and ordered, and he's guarded. You know, he's got his shield on, his armor is on, and so he has protection layers, he has protective layers on him, which means that he can very easily fight these issues. And if we're going to take a look at what the issues are, what the elements are, you have earth and you have air. So for me, these are things that he can, with fire, he can somehow fight back, because he is the element of fire. And again, he's strong, he's the king of kings, he's the emperor of all of the armies, so he has enough resources to fight these issues. And because he's at the center here, I would tend to think he has. If we're looking at tarot sum of cards, we have 23 and 4 is 27, 27 and 9 is 36. Now we have to add 3 and 6, which gives us 9, which is the Hermit. And the Hermit is a card of solitude, of research, of finding answers for yourself. So I think this means you need to investigate the situation a little bit and find out more, and look to the ground. Perhaps you've not been looking down and seeing things clearly. Perhaps all of this is a little bit not, is kind of hidden, because mice don't come into the day when you're at home. They come at night when everyone is sleeping. So these things, and there's a lot of black in these cards, so things are hidden. So the Hermit says, go and find out, investigate, and check things out for yourself. All right? Okay, so for those who chose the top pile, the one that was completely at the end here, we have the Clouds, we have the 7 of Wands, and we have a Queen of Diamonds. So we had the King of Diamonds early on, now we have a Queen of Diamonds. The Clouds mean just that, lack of clarity. Things are not really going, are not really clear. Things are just unsure right now, and I think it represents a little bit what's going on in the world at the moment, where it's just foggy, right? Generally. The 7 of Wands is a good card because it means you're defending yourself and you're standing your ground, which means you're not letting yourself get overwhelmed by these clouds. You're still going to push your way through. Okay, it means somebody who's resistant, and it carries the energy of the Chariot in tarot. The Chariot is Cancer, and the Chariot has a habit of just pushing through, okay, because the Chariot is a vehicle, it's a war vehicle, like the sign it's associated with is the crab, Cancer, and crabs too, they have a very tough shell and they just go through whatever they have to go through to survive. So this means that you are surviving, you are fighting for your survival. And the person who's doing this is probably a lady, or probably someone whose femininity is coming out quite strongly right now. And the lady, the Queen of Diamonds, has a lot of passion, has a lot of energy. These two cards are definitely fire cards, so a lot of fire are going to dispel the clouds which are earth here. And that is quite a positive spread for those who chose this pile, because it says that use that energy, that fire of the woman here, or somebody. Perhaps it also means use the help of that person to fight the clouds. All right. So if I'm looking, just before I go, if I'm looking at the energy here, 6 and 7 are 13, so it's death. So death usually means the end of something and the regeneration of something. So it's probably you will need this person's help to fight these clouds and put an end to the cloudy, foggy period in your life. All right, so I hope this has been useful to you, and I hope you subscribe to this channel by hitting the button and hitting the bell. I'm going to be getting a little gimmicks so that you can do that soon enough. But in the meantime, thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions that you want me to answer from the audience, please leave them in the comments. But first, you have to subscribe. And if the more you can get people to subscribe to this channel, the happier I'll be. And I'll be very happy to answer your questions too. So thank you for joining me today.